I used to believe love could withstand anything. That no distance, no silence, no mistake was too wide to cross. I was wrong. It began months before the night he found out. I could feel something in our marriage shifting, a quiet erosion. Neither of us dared name. Evan was still gentle, still steady, still the man who once saw me like I was the only one in the world. But somewhere between late office hours and dinners drowned in silverware noise, I started to fade from my own life. That's when I met Daniel. It wasn't meant to matter, just a voice that made me feel visible again. But messages turned into coffee. Coffee turned into touches. And touches became the single choice I'd never undo. The night Evan found out the house was too quiet, I still remember his car rolling up the driveway, headlights slicing through the curtains. I sat on the couch, pretending to read, every cell in my body trembling. Daniel had left 15 minutes before. I didn't know what Evan knew, only that his silence when he stepped inside wasn't familiar. It wasn't weary. It was certain. He looked at me, really looked the way a person memorizes something they're about to lose. Then he asked almost calmly, "How long?" I couldn't speak. My chest locked, my heart slammed. He didn't shout, didn't throw anything. He just stood there, quiet, collapsing around us. Then slowly, he nodded, like he'd confirmed what he already knew. "Okay," he said softly. That calm was worse than fury. Rage means there's still a pulse left to fight for. But calm is the end. He walked past me into our room. I followed, whispering, "Evan, please." It didn't mean I was just lonely. He didn't answer. He opened the closet, pulled out a suitcase, and began packing with machine-like precision. When I reached for him, he flinched back. "Don't," he said, barely above a whisper. That single word hurt more than any slap ever could. "I'm not angry," he continued, zipping the bag shut. "I'm just done. You broke something I can't put back." Tears blurred everything. "Please," I begged. "I'll fix it. Therapy, a break, whatever you want." He turned to me one last time, eyes full of grief and an odd, peaceful clarity. "You already did everything," he said. "You just didn't do it with me." He walked to the door. Before leaving, he paused. "I hope he makes you feel seen," he said. "That's all I ever wanted for you." And then he was gone. 4 days I waited for a knock, a call, a scream, something. But he never came home. Later I learned he'd rented a small apartment downtown. He transferred the bills to my name neatly, methodically, like a man closing a chapter with quiet finality. The silence devoured the house. His mug still sat on the counter. His scent lingered in the sheets. Every corner echoed what I'd traded for a moment of attention. Daniel stopped calling, too. Maybe guilt caught up. Or maybe he realized I wasn't worth the ruin. Either way, his absence became another hollow sound in the space I'd emptied. 2 weeks later, an envelope arrived. Evan's handwriting. Inside was a single note, not a divorce, not anger, just words. "You don't have to apologize. Just promise you'll never confuse being noticed with being loved again." I crumbled reading it. In those few lines, he showed more grace than I deserved. I read it again and again for days, hoping there was some hidden way to undo everything. But there wasn't. The ink was final. The message irreversible. In the weeks that followed, I learned what absence could carve into a soul. It turned every whisper into thunder. The buzz of the fridge, the sigh of the floorboards, the echo of guilt that never slept. I tried to slip back into routine, to greet coworkers with a smile that didn't belong to me. But every small question How's Evan? Cut a little deeper. 3 months passed before I saw him. Again. It happened in the grocery store. Of all places. He was by the oranges. Hands steady, eyes soft but distant. That same calm that once undid me.
I froze.
My heart said run, but my body
Stayed.
I drifted toward him like someone half dreaming. Evan, I breathed. He turned. Our eyes met. For one instant, there was that flicker, familiarity, memory, something that used to mean home. Then it vanished. Hi, Claire, he said. Just my name.
No.
Edge, no warmth. I managed to smile. You look well. You too. He glanced at his basket, then back.
I
Heard you sold the house.
Yeah, I
Murmured. Didn't feel right without you. He nodded once. That's fair. The silence between us used to be filled with laughter. I wanted to thank you. I
said.
For your note. It meant a lot. He paused, exhaled. It wasn't forgiveness, it was release. For both of
Us.
My chest tightened. Are you happy? I asked. He gave a small smile that didn't reach his eyes. I'm learning. Happiness isn't sudden, it's peace that stays a little longer each day. He began to walk away. Something inside me cracked. Evan, wait. My voice shook. If you ever wondered, I still love you. I never stopped. He turned slightly, just enough for the light to touch his face. Then you should have loved me when I was still there, he said quietly. And then he left. That was the last time I saw him. I wish I could say that moment changed me right away. That I became wiser, stronger, better.
But
Healing isn't graceful. It's clumsy, slow, full of nights spent reliving what can't be fixed. Sometimes I'd scroll through old photos, tracing the shape of his smile with my thumb. Eventually, I moved to a smaller town. New work, new walls, new people who didn't know my story. I told myself it was a fresh start, but I was really just learning to live beside the ghost of my own choices. One gray evening, unpacking boxes, I found a small tin. Inside were old ticket stubs, a few faded photos, and the leather bracelet he used to wear.
I
Sat on the floor, holding it, and something inside me went still. Not pain, understanding. He hadn't sought revenge when he could have. He chose grace over anger. And that choice taught me the difference between love that possesses and love that lets go. I stood by the window, watching rain slide down the glass, and whispered, I'm sorry, not to bring him back, he was long gone, but to finally tell the truth to myself. Because the night he left wasn't when I lost him. I'd been losing him long before, mistaking attention for care, comfort for connection, noise for love. Sometimes I still wonder where he is. Maybe he's with someone who understands. Quiet mornings and steady silence, someone who doesn't need to be seen to feel
cherished.
As for me, I live softer now. I don't chase sparks, I keep the fire. I don't search for proof of love, I practice presence. I've learned that real love isn't about being chosen every day, it's about staying kind when no one's watching. And though Evan will never return, I carry what he left behind. The calm, the grace he showed me when I least earned. It's what keeps me whole, what keeps me true. He saw me with someone else, but walking away without hate, without revenge. That was the moment that broke me, because it showed me what love truly was and how I never gave it back when I had the chance.